Top of the hexagram. Today is the sixth line of the 64th gate, and it's called victory. 64th gate is confusion. We know it's a head gate. It is in abstract circuitry. There is a strange thing that takes place in both the 64-6 and the 63-6. Basically, they just want to be each other. So they have a problem. The 64-6 would love to be logical. It sits up there with all of that confusion and it says, I wish there was a logical way to make sense out of this. The 63, with its doubts and its questions, it says, God, I have so many questions. Maybe somebody's got a good idea about how I can get through this, where I can find an answer. It wants to be abstract. The grass is always greener on the other side, whether you're logical or abstract. The exaltation says the mental assuredness that knew that victory was inevitable, thus making triumph sweet, but not a reason for excess. The mental gift of enjoying the confusion and its diversity of data. This is really the magic that is possible with the 64-6. That stream of information from the past will always come through. We can just enjoy the images, the stream, for what it is. Nothing more, nothing less. It's not up to the 64 to make sense out of any of it. It is up to the 64 to inspire other people to make sense out of it. The moment the 64 lets go of being responsible for the realization, it can enjoy its confusion because it's beautiful. It is history. It's the past. These people spend the first part of their life trying to make sense out of their confusion. Trying to do it for themselves, and then they discover that they can't. They try to get others to resolve their confusion, to find out that they can't. And then they go up on the hill and they say, I'm confused and I love it. Let me be an inspiration to you. I don't know how anything works, but I can turn you on to anything. It can be a real joy to just sink into the confusion and just be with it. The 64th gate is part of the experience of being human, to enjoy being yourself. So many of us were brought up to kind of believe that there is something wrong with loving yourself. It's just not done, darling. And yet it's such joy to recognize that when you are yourself, those attributes of your nature that disturb you now, you get to see that they're such important allies for your completion as a whole being. To be aware of your design is to enjoy what you are, to enjoy your limitation, because we all have limitations. We're there to enjoy our limitations, to revel in them. There's nothing like you anywhere on this planet. You are unique. Revel in that. Luxuriate in that. Get down and muddy in it, really roll around and totally cover yourself in the fact that you are a unique being in this world. You are so special. So, so special. And understand the magic of the cosmos. It's that there is somebody on your geometry, your fractal line, who is going to pull up to your gate one day and they're going to say, hey, you got that one? Nice. I've got this one. I think you'll love it. Sure. You just have to wait. You just have to enjoy the diversity of life while you're waiting for that other to come along. And then you just, got it all going on. Not quite sure I'm going with this one today. The 64-6 is a valuable resource. And when they're able to enjoy the confusion without taking on any responsibility for eliminating it, they could just have fun being confused, being an inspiration. Confusion is a necessary stage before order can take place. We learned this, many transits back in the third gate, the gate of mutation. Confusion is necessary before order can take place. So this state of being inspiring but not being clear is a perfect state, because the clarity comes out of communication with the other and the collective knowledge, the shared knowledge. In the detriment, we find, like the story of the Trojan horse, it can be dangerous to get carried away in celebration, lest one loses vigilance and perspective. With all the data, it's easy to lose perspective. Enjoy the stream going through, but if you get stuck only in the enjoyment of the stream, you don't get to see the pleasure of the realization of that inspiration. You just get stuck in the confusion, and you love it. Ra said he knew people with this line who would say to him, "Don't try and make sense out of the world for me. I enjoy being confused." They withdraw from any of this. They're 6 lines, after all. That sense of aloofness. The 6th line is always ready not to fulfill anybody else's expectations about what it is supposed to be expressing. When you meet a 64-6, you don't meet somebody who's necessarily going to give you the impression that they're confused. The actual impression that you get from them is that they know something that you don't. Yeah, this is the Cheshire smile. It's a very sneaky little smile. You have no idea. They may, in fact, be remembering something that they experienced with you, something that gives them a sense that they know something that you don't. And it's always there. You know, this is them standing back, aloof, just watching. If you are collecting all of this confusion, it's hard to tell what is worth anything in amongst all of that. It becomes another kind of confusion itself. 6 lines love to know what the value of something is going to be. What's in it for me? Is it worth my time getting involved in any of this? When you meet a 64 and you get to know them a little bit, you might find that really what they're yearning for is a little bit of logic. It's a little bit of something to realize what the confusion is all about, to make sense of it, maybe to relieve the mental pressure. And in this sense, we find that the wheel is being very kind to gate 64, because at the other end of the channel, we find gate 47, and this is the next gate in the wheel. 64 is getting instant gratification. We go from confusion straight into being able to make sense of the confusion. Ra said that this was one of those transits that's really interesting to watch. Not for yourself. This isn't one of your self-experiment things where you sit on your own and you wait for the transit to kick in and you see how it feels. But this is one for you to watch in everybody else around you. On the 64 day, you know, you can see that people are confused. Yeah, they have no idea what's going on. And then you watch them going through all of that into the next day or the next period when the 47 comes in, and all of a sudden they start making sense out of their confusion, and the pressure that's built up is released. Now, the fact that it's a conditioned release because it's coming through a transit, you know, it means that whatever they're making sense out of may actually not have any value at all. But, you know, that's another story, I guess. In the wheel, as we move, we're going from this pressure, this confusion, and we're going to step into the beginning of the process of making sense out of it. Key in all of this is really to recognize that if you don't live out your own nature, you can really suffer. If you don't understand the mechanics of how you operate, your life is very possibly going to be full of lots of unnecessary pain. Not physical pain necessarily. There are many different forms of pain that this body can endure. But the moment that you accept the way in which you are designed to operate, you can accept that there are certain things in your life that are not ever going to be resolved. They're not meant to be acted on. Maybe they're not even meant to be enjoyed. So this is what experience brings to us. All of those people who condition us through our life, they say the same things. They tell us that we're missing out if we don't do this, and you must read this book, it's amazing, you'll be missing out if you don't read that. Always it's that thing of you're missing out. And a lot of the whole marketing industry is built on enticing us with things that if we don't have them, we're missing out. And so one of the things that's come into modern parlance is FOMO. I mean, this is not a phrase that existed that I'm aware of, maybe 5, 6 years ago. But this fear of missing out, it's a thing. And there's a huge industry around it. But actually, there's nothing to miss. Nothing. You've missed nothing if you don't read that book, if you don't see that film, if you don't get on that train and go to somewhere. I was going to say go to Birmingham, but actually you get on a train to leave Birmingham. Sorry, Birmingham, but you do. And that's not Birmingham, Alabama, because I've never been there. But Birmingham in the United Kingdom? No, used to live there. Don't want to go there again. I'm okay. See my train of thought there, completely confused. Don't know what's going on. Looking forward to gate 47. Yes, if you live out your nature correctly, then you get exactly what's for you and you miss nothing. And you can really relax into that. And you can know that when these conditioners are saying to us, oh, you're going to miss out if you don't do this, and you're always missing out on everything now, why don't you ever do anything anymore, or whatever it is they're trying to get us to do, we can just relax and, you don't know what you're talking about. I'm doing exactly what's correct for me. I trust the mechanic. I trust the process. That's all we have to do. That's our whole thing, really. Just trust the mechanic and we'll get exactly what's correct for us. The 63-6 is called nostalgia. And again, we find the longing of the logic to be abstract because nostalgia is about the past. And the past is the domain of the abstract circuit. Logic should be looking forward, projecting into the future, based on stable patterns. The abstract is a collection of sequences from the past that we string together as our subjective history. So here's another attempt in this 6th line in the logical side, this time in the 63, to try and be abstract, to be anti-logical. Confuses the hell out of me, I must say. The moon is in line 1. No, it's not. It's in gate 1. Probably started off in line 1. Went in at 9:06 this morning. This is the G center gate, the gate of self-expression. Individual, unique, empowering others to step out of the box and be their gloriously differentiated selves. Remember that if this activation is a transit activation for you, you don't usually have it in your design, you might need to be a little bit careful around suddenly showing the world your glorious, differentiated self. You might not be equipped to handle the results of that if you don't have much individuality in your chart. We need to sometimes treat these transits with care, or treat ourselves with care whilst we're going through the transits. That might be a better way around, huh? 43 is next. Individual. It's an individual day as far as the moon is concerned. And 43 at 2022, so later on, more individuality with this Ajna gate, the gate of insight. And always with individuality, we find these keynotes of uniqueness, mutation, insights. There's always the potential of seeming a little bit different to others, when we express our individuality. And this is not a throat gate. This is not designed to express itself, not unless the 23 is present, bringing that possibility of getting the unique insights out through the throat, by invitation always, and through being recognized as it's a projector gate. So the 14 is our last gate today, and the moon goes in here at 7:34 tomorrow morning. This is the sacral gate of power skills, possession in great measure, strongly material, strongly individual. This is about having access to resources and material wealth, supporting humanity's need for change and mutation in order to survive as a species. You start reading that, and the closer we get to 2027, you start thinking, because that's not going to happen. Well, it does, of course. We're still here for another 1230 something years. We will survive as a species that long. We just won't be the focus for the program. Okay, confusion again. I'm going down a different rabbit hole, but oh man, the global cycles are so exciting. I love the global cycles. Anyway, let's get back to this. I wanted to say something about individuality. If you don't have much individuality in your chart, maybe with these moon transits, because it goes through so many individual gates in a row, you could bring some awareness into your experience as you have these transits go through. Feel whether you have an urge to be a little bit more unique. Can you be more unique? You can't be more unique. Bear's gonna I'll be told off for this one later. Bear always has a thing when everyone says anything like, oh, it's completely unique, or that one's totally unique. It's like, you don't qualify unique. So I just qualified unique. Oops. Anyway, while we're going through this individual transit period of time, you might find an urge to express your uniqueness. Okay, you might find yourself a little bit annoyed if other people try and tell you what to do or what to say or how to behave, because individuality doesn't want that. You may notice you're a little bit stubborn. You're digging your heels in when someone tries to give you a little bit of a steer, because individuality doesn't want that either. This is your experiment, of course. This is your playground. So, well, have fun with it. But always remember that the transit isn't you. The transit is something to experiment with, and that's all. And we don't have to play with it all at once in this particular round, because we get it every month as far as the lunar cycle is concerned. So that's us. That's the end of the 64. We go into 47 tomorrow. And yeah, I hope you will join me for that. Hopefully there won't be any more confusion around. We'll be able to make sense of it all, and it will be wonderful. Until then, be your glorious, unique self, because there's only one of you, and you are amazing. Did I tell you that lately? You're amazing. And thank you for joining me, being here, and yeah, bouncing on. I got my ball, sitting on my ball. Yeah, okay, going now. Love you.